The civil-military fusion model, how the AI arms race threatens democracy. 1. The new arms race. Once upon a time, arms races were about missiles. Now, they're about math. Nations aren't competing over territory anymore, they're competing over algorithms. The newest battlefield is invisible, lines of code, datasets, and neural networks. The prize isn't land or oil. It's control of the future. That's where the phrase civil-military fusion comes in, a polite way of saying the government and big tech got married. The model was perfected in China, where corporate innovation feeds military power and vice versa. Some in the US argue we need to copy it to stay ahead. But here's the paradox: in trying to beat China, we risk becoming China, minus the cuisine. So what does that actually mean? It means democracy is flirting with technocratic authoritarianism, in the name of defense. Footnote: the AI arms race has redefined national security, merging civilian technology with military intelligence infrastructure. 2. The authoritarian temptation. The argument goes like this: to win against authoritarian efficiency, democracies must adopt authoritarian efficiency. It sounds logical, until you remember why democracies exist. Civil-military fusion may boost speed and coordination, but it also erases the line between citizens and subjects. It gives generals and CEOs a shared to-do list, and that list rarely includes civil liberties. Humor helps soften the blow, but it's grim humor. Imagine AI for freedom sponsored by Lockheed Martin. The irony writes itself. Footnote: the US debate over replicating China's fusion model reveals a trade-off between innovation speed and civil oversight. 3. The forgotten ingredient: values. America's edge used to be its ideals: freedom, transparency, accountability. The very things that China's system suppresses are what gave the US its moral power. If those are sacrificed for efficiency, what's left to defend? So what does that actually mean? It means the West could win the algorithm but lose the soul. In chasing dominance, we risk swapping the Bill of Rights for a terms of service agreement. Footnote: the erosion of democratic values under technological militarization threatens to undermine the moral legitimacy of liberal governance. 4. The blind spot: transnational capital. Here's the twist: much of China's rise in AI was funded by the very Western investors now warning about it. BlackRock, Blackstone, tech oligarchs, all invested in the same Chinese firms they call strategic threats. The global elite discovered that ideology is less profitable than opportunity. So, while politicians thunder about beating Beijing, the money quietly flows both ways. And nobody asks why. Footnote: Western capital flows have significantly enabled China's technological expansion, blurring lines between competition and cooperation. 5. The corporate confusion. The same oligarchs who supply the Pentagon also do business with Beijing. Tesla, for instance, builds both cars for Americans and data infrastructure for China. The logic is simple: capitalism knows no borders, but national security still pretends they exist. The result is a global conflict fought by companies that profit from both sides. So what does that actually mean? It means national security has become a product, and you're the customer who can't return it. Footnote: the convergence of corporate profit motives and military priorities erodes distinctions between commerce and defense. 6. The irony of emulation. If civil-military fusion becomes the Western model, then the West will have copied the very thing it claimed to oppose. And history's full of warnings about nations that imitate their enemies to survive, only to become them. The moral is simple, but apparently hard to program into code: don't fight tyranny by downloading it. Footnote: historical precedent shows that adopting an adversary's authoritarian structures often leads to systemic self-destruction. 7. The call for sanity. No one saying stop AI. Progress doesn't need brakes, it needs boundaries. What matters is public debate, legal oversight, and actual accountability. Otherwise, the future won't be built, it'll be automated. So what does that actually mean? It means democracy must evolve, or be quietly rewritten in binary. Footnote. Ethical governance of AI requires public engagement and institutional transparency to preserve democratic control.